there was some terrorists back there, that we had threats of them coming to get her.
Did you ever serve time with anyone of noteworthy, as far, I don't want to say celebrities, but anyone that, like, a name that people may know, like maybe related to someone or?
So nobody famous. I served time with a few murderers behind the fence that were like on Snapped. And I can't remember the names, but they did like episodes of Snapped. They did have this in FMC Carswell is the only federal prison that has maximum security for women. So there were a lot of more famous women back there. Like there was some terrorists back there that we had threats of them coming to get her. So there are more famous people. There's a lot of child molesters in FMC Carswell because they have a child molesting program there that they supposed to rehabilitate or whatever.
Give me your thoughts on that. We see a lot of let's just say teachers that might have been sleeping with a 15-year-old student, having a relationship for maybe a year, months, or whatever it was, and they end up doing time for it. What are your thoughts on a 26-year-old teacher sleeping with a 15-year-old boy and getting X amount of time?
I don't think they get enough time. I mean, there were girls that got 3-year sentences for selling their young daughter or son to somebody, to some man, or videotaping, their boyfriend going down on their 3-year-old son, and they have a 5-year sentence. And I'm sitting in here on a drug charge. Most women are sitting there on drug charges with 20, 30-year sentences. They don't get enough time. I mean, it's terrible. Some of the story, it's disgusting. And you wouldn't think that women, you don't think of women as child molesters. You think of more so of child molesters as men. But there are some women in there that did some pretty gruesome things, and they just got these little old sentences.
How do you know of the crimes they did? Is it something that's just told, or is it paperwork?
No, we know. Okay. Yeah, we know.
Have women used sex as a way to get favor from CEOs, as far as like, hey, I need either something in here, or I need, whatever they need? Do they use it as a weapon, or they use it as favor?
Yeah. I worked in the commissary in Carswell, and there was actually a boss in commissary that had relationships with his workers in commissary, and he would bring them outside gifts, and they would have these different watch bands, and you'd be like, oh, how'd you get that watch band? You know what I'm saying? And it was known, you know what I'm saying? But it was, I don't even know. It was known against the women, but women really didn't talk about it, or nobody did anything about it. I mean, I think I actually heard that he actually ended up getting fired because he went crazy after he got exposed for being in a relationship with an inmate. But it's definitely common.
What about CEOs? Did you ever get a chance to befriend a CEO? Like, they just become real cool? Like, there are some CEOs that, you go into office, you talk to, and my counselor, Mr. Franklin, was actually, his name's Donald Franklin. He's retired now, but he was my counselor on the inside and my counselor on the outside, and he was the most amazing. I used to go in there and sing Amazing Grace to him all the time. I used to go in there and chop it up, talk to him, and he was just the coolest guy. He was a personal trainer, so he used to do exercise classes and exercise programs. But he was probably the officer that I got the closest to. He was amazing. Now, you said you used to, of course, or sing to blow off steam. I know male prisons have talent shows, like in state. Did they do that?
Yeah.
Where you could have time to go show, your skills? How did those go? And did you always kind of jump in if you had time?
Yep, absolutely, always. We always went in there. I always did the talent shows. I did the shows. We put on shows for the kids. I was talking about the holiday shows or whatever. I was always involved in that. They even had live bands come in sometimes and play music for us while we were all sitting outside. I was always involved in anything that had to do with singing.
What would you say was the craziest contraband you've seen smuggled in, or someone maybe somehow got in?
A dildo.
They got a dildo in there? Yeah. That worked, or just a regular?
It worked. No, it was an actual dildo. It was unfortunately passed around. I want to ask, how does one get a dildo in there? But
You got it through visitation. I don't know how she did it, but you got it in there.
Jeez. For you yourself, did you ever have to like, I don't want to say defend your life, but you ever have to fight, like physically fight someone?
I did not. I honestly,
So
to be honest
did your
with you,
time
I did
without-
my time without ever getting into one single fight with anybody.
Did you have an escalated argument?
I did.
How did that quell itself?
It was escalated argument. We just argued, but I'm not especially in prison, I'm not a fighter. Like, I will defend myself if somebody hits me, but I'm not a fighter by nature. So screaming, a lot of screaming and words and calling, name calling and things like that, and just saying very hurtful words was pretty much how it was. But to be honest, I only got into that maybe 3 times while I was locked up. I stayed to myself. I read.
Yeah. Are there any books that you read that were like notable that you don't mind sharing, like as far as some books you got through?
The Nightingale, amazing book. I read the Bible, of course, through and through several times. Outlander was an amazing book. That's an amazing series. Not really. I didn't really read any self-help books or anything like that, but I've read a lot of books.
For someone coming in, again, if you were to give them like a rule, or either let's say 3 rules to kind of do their time and get through it, what rules would you give a first timer, whether through state or through feds? What rules would you give them, like, to abide
Don't get
by?
involved in anybody else's drama. Don't touch anybody else's property, and don't accept anything from anybody, because that just never goes well.
Do people offer things like?
Yes.
So the first day in, they'll probably offer something.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first day in the feds or in the state, as far as was anything out of the ordinary? Is it pretty much normal? Like, was the treatment okay, or do you remember like them being extra harsh on you?
So intake was a little bit different than state in the feds. So you just kind of go in to get processed. It's a long process. They go in, they interview you, they take your picture, they do this. But the counselor, I remember I told her, I was like, the one thing that stuck out is I remember telling her, I was like, I want to go to the camp. And she looked at my sentence and she was like, honey, you got a 20-year sentence. You ain't going to the camp anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? You're not going anywhere. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get there. You'll see. You know what I'm saying? I'll get there. And, but the intake process, so you go through all that, and then you get taken to your dorm, and it's very different from the intake process in state. In state, I was talking about the dog pound. You got to go to the dog pound and in a kennel basically for about 7 days while you get processed in.